So23 lenses here. If you can see that light there, and the lenses were missing. So I'm making them myself. I took some lexan and I made this, and I'm going to show you guys how to do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sandblast this, and I'm going to take a clear splatter and spray clear splatter and make them just like look like the original ones that were on here. So I actually had to make the size by eye because I only had a little portion of the one I had left. I noticed some of them seem to be really low profile, really close to here. It doesn't look like mine were that way because the piece that I had was just like this. I mean, I'll show you the piece. So here's the original piece that I had, and if I made it exactly like this, it would have stood off about an inch away from the area, as just like the one that I have is. So the only thing I have is this little piece and pictures of other ones. So I'm going to show you guys how to pan form. Since I'm in the sign industry, I've learned a few things about plastics. So I'm going to share a couple of those things real quick. Maybe you're wanting to make something cool, maybe you can make a neat looking lens for something, and you want it to be round. I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. It's not hard. So I have some clear lexan, and this has the coating on it. I'm not sure if I can heat this with the coating on. I peeled it off the first one. I'm going to go ahead and do that on this one too. So now that I've got this lexan all off of the thing, I'm going to go ahead and balance it right here on this piece that I've made. You could use a whole piece of, if you wanted to go down to Home Depot, probably get a better. Mine's a little, my roundness isn't that great, so, but I'm not that worried about it. By the time it gets the finish that's going to be on here, if you look closely at that, if you see that has, it's actually clear splatter that's on there, more than likely, but it kind of gives that mottled look, and I know how to do that too, so I'm going to do that. And it's also sandblasted and semi-opaque, so we're going to make it look just like that when I'm done. Let me show you what the first thing you do is. First thing you need to do is get the shape right. So how I do it, my trusty dusty Harbor Freight Tools torch. Just heat up that lens. You don't want to get the torch too close or keep it in the same place too long, because you don't want to burn the lens. You just want to get it hot enough to where it melts. So it's hard to do this and film at the same time, but I'm not big worried about it since it was about a few dollars worth of remnant plastic that I bought, so I happened to ruin one. It's not a real big deal. So you just keep heating this thing up, keep moving your torch around. Cut it to size first. There it goes. Starting to wobble a little. Get it hot. When you make signs, you take the whole word and you'll heat it up, and then you'll press another sign into another sign. You make a pan-form face, and that's how they make those pan-form faces, the same way they do. They heat it up like this. They might use something different than a propane torch. But it does take some heat. After a few minutes of doing this, all of a sudden you'll just watch it. It's pretty cool. Starting to do it just barely right now. It'll just start, it will just move. Just like butter. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to do anything to it. Let's just watch it happen. It's got to get pretty darn hot. This is in real time, so it takes about Took me about 5 minutes to do the first one, 3 minutes. So, not that long. There she goes. Starting to drop. This turns into rubber for a minute. There it goes. There it goes. It rubberizes the plastic. There you go. Want the whole thing down nice and even though, so I'm going to go ahead and just keep heating this guy up. Yeah, it's just okay. Yeah, that's the shape we want. Okay, it's about at the edge there. It's kind of liquidized. You can see it's real super shiny, so it's, you don't want to touch it right now. You put a fingerprint in there and you have one hell of a hot thing on your finger. So you gotta let this cool, and then you can cut it out. And I'll show you how you cut it out in a second. You can do this. You can make almost anything with this process right here. You can buy this stuff in different colors too, and make some cool customized stuff with the same kind of technology right here. It's really not hard. All right, we'll check that out in just a second. All right, so I was in the middle of, I got to do something else right now, but let me show you the tools you use. I use a cutoff wheel to shape this. You can use a jigsaw, but you know, I prefer the cutoff wheel. Actually works really nice, and it melts the edge. So you'll have a nice ugly looking melted edge, and then what you do is you use your grinder to actually do the final grinding on the edge to make it, give it this look. We see, because I'm going to actually sandblast this thing to get it to look dull again. I want it to look semi-opaque, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the sandblaster in a little while. I'm going to sandblast this whole thing and let it dry, and let it finish that up, and then I'm going to take clear, automotive clear coat, and I'm going to set up my spray gun with very, very little air and with the material turned up real high, and it's just going to spit material out onto this, and I'm going to do that a few times to even get it come to a nice even spatter, and it'll look just like the sample, like this. Very close. It might be slightly different, but it'll be so close that most people would think it's an original piece that's still on there, but it won't be. So those are the type of things you do when you're restoring cars. You know, it's use all your skills, whatever you have. And in fact, I might just do the outside with the sandblaster, because look, the inside kind of has this shine to it. And yeah, I'm going to do the outside of it. It won't matter if I did the inside and the outside much. It'll still look the same. Sandblast this whole surface, then my clear will stick really good. And I'll just put my clear on there and spatter. And hopefully it won't. It'll still be semi-opaque, because that's what I want it to be. So hopefully when I put that clear on, it still keeps that sandblasted look underneath. I think it will. Alright, so that's how you make those lenses for your so23, and you can make other cool plastic items by using this method.